Hello YouTube, this is Sam Chandler. This is my first video for YouTube, and hopefully I'll have some more coming up. I was actually prompted to do this by a short film that I saw online, and some questions, actually a string of conversation that a couple of friends of mine had on Facebook about it. It's this film. It's called Slap Her, Children's Reactions. It's a fan page. It's I guess 4 minutes long. It's not really long, so if you have a chance before we start talking about it, if you can just pop by, I'll give the address in the low bar there, and you can pop by and see what the film's all about. And it's quick, and we'll meet you back here, or you can always watch it afterwards. I don't think it will really matter too much. Let's see. I posted this short film on my Facebook page. And put a little caption on there, finally, because when I first saw it, I was kind of blown away at how positively boys are portrayed in this film, and you don't see that a lot. And really, as a dad of two kids, one boy, my boy's 12, I really look for things like this that I can show my son, that let him know that he's right off the bat, he's a good guy. He doesn't have to worry about being some violent guy, or the rape culture out there or anything. Anyways, I got no response. I put it up on my Facebook. I got no response. So I embedded it, and after a while I did get some response from a couple of people, friends in my Facebook circle. I've got about 200 friends. Each proclaimed feminist, one male, one female. And here's just a kind of a breakdown of the complaints they had about the film. They said it made them uncomfortable. They mentioned that the girl who's in the film, her name's Martina, that she has no voice and gives no consent when the boys are actually asked to touch her, which happens in the film. They say that the film is totally artificial, basic, and questionable. And they also wonder what would have happened in this movie if Martina was ugly, or whether she was fat or mouthy. And they also said that this was just a feel-good clip, just kind of a trite thing, not really very serious. And one of the things they also mentioned is, would I allow my daughter to be in a production like this one? So, okay, moving on. One of the people I was talking to, she sent me this, and this is a rebuttal by Dr. Rebecca Haynes. And it's about this film. She feels that it objectifies girls, exploits boys, and trivializes domestic violence. Now, Dr. Rebecca Haynes, and you're always going to be shocked by how these feminists react to things. Here's a sweet little film that I watched and was just charmed by. Second line in, she thinks it's sickening. It's sickening. Well, thanks for that educated opinion. Thank goodness we've got Rebecca Haynes. Well, going into the film, it's kind of a man on the street interview, as I mentioned, and these boys are stopped at random, and they're asked some pretty benign questions to get everything rolling and stuff. So they're asked, "What's your name? And how old are you? What do you want to be when you grow up?" And this is, I guess, the one truthful line in the whole thing is, thanks to this line of questioning, each boy is brought to life for the viewer, and that's really true. But I mean, we need that, because as the viewers, we have to be able to understand the message of the film, and kind of get into the shoes of the boys to really understand what's going on here. As I mentioned, midway through the film, a young lady named Martina is introduced, and here's the feminine perspective, or the first feminist knee-jerk reaction is the interviewer does not ask Martina any questions, and he doesn't. He does not share any details with Martina. That's true too. We don't learn how old she is or what she wants to be when she grows up, and really instead the boys are asked, what do you like about her? What do they like about Martina? And they say things like, well, I like her eyes, or I like her hair. One of the fellas says everything in a very gentlemanly way. And just before I leave this area here, if you'll notice, Martina really has some reactions in this film. Martina's not like this inert thing, which will come into play here as we go down into the denizens of feminism here. Martina's actually playing somewhat of a part. Although I think at this stage of the game, being that it's a man on the street interview, and she's brought in strictly for the last question, or the last request, which is slap her, Her job is to be foil here. She's not supposed to be chatting everybody up, and I think that's a noticeable part about this film. But we'll go down and we'll look at the feminist perspective here. Basically, summing it up, they're saying that she's a prop. She's there to be seen and not heard. Now, I agree with them. That's the role that she's playing. That's the part that she took. Now we'll go through a couple of some of the ideas of what of objectification that come into play by two leading feminist scholars. One of them being Ray Langton. Now, I looked up Ray Langton, and these three ideas here that Rebecca Haynes throws into the conversation. These 3 points are specifically addressing, in one of Ray Langton's books, pornography. So when we read through her things, she's really talking about pornography. But I believe that these 3 points don't even belong here, because she is nowhere being... we're not talking about any kind of sexuality or anything here at all. Nonetheless, 3 points that Ray Langton throws into objectification is reduction to body, or the treatment of a person as identified with their body or their body parts. Now, I've already mentioned that Martina is at one point actually touched by each of the boys by request, but from the interviewer. The second point is the reduction to appearance, the treatment of a person primarily in terms of how they look or how they appear to the senses. So I guess that's whether they're attractive or not attractive, which I also think in this Man of the Street interview, and that it has to do with domestic violence, and ultimately the boys are asked to strike somebody. I don't think that their looks have anything to do about it. And addressing my friend here, said, well, what about if she was mouthy? Well, I think in the long run, anybody would react to somebody who's mouthy in the way that mouthiness was. I mean, I think the boys would be perfectly within their rights if someone is to be mouthy to them, to be mouthy back. Although I wouldn't automatically agree that they would then hit her. There'd have to be a heck of an argument going on. Anyways, Ray Langton's points. Third one, silencing. The treatment of a person as if they're silent, lacking in capacity to speak. Well, I believe that Martina's role is to be silent through this. And I believe that she signed up for that. Now, the second reference is a lady named Martha Nussbaum. And Martha Nussbaum is even more so a mucky-muck in feminist circles. Martha Nussbaum has a lot of comment towards public policy, and I guess when we say that, we're talking about social justice. She's a professor of philosophy, studied at Harvard, but started off studying the classics and theater, and her main contribution to philosophy as a field is that, and I'm kind of just summing things up, is that Martha Nussbaum would like to see more love in philosophy, and that seems to be something that is, well, in terms of feminine philosophy, when maybe some of us might think that you would want to be fair, or you might want to be logical, or you might want to have consensus amongst everybody for something to be called public policy. Martha Nussbaum really feels that love is the main aspect that should be brought into public policy. And of course, you have to then define love, and then that love has to be applied. So I think that whole tack of thought is just the wrong way when we're talking about public affairs or social justice or anything like that. Love is a very subjective term. Nonetheless, here we go into Martha Nussbaum's. She's got criteria for objectification as well, and I'll just go through them and answer them as we go through. Instrumentality, the treatment of a person as a tool for the objectifier's purposes. Well, once again, I said that yes, the boys are asked to touch her, so she is actually used, and she is a tool as well, because without her being there, the film just wouldn't work. Denial of autonomy is the second tenet here. The treatment of a person as lacking in autonomy and self-determination. Well, my belief is that Martina actually signed on to do the film, and she actually knows more about what's going on in the film than the boys do, and would have had to have known this ahead of time. So yes, I think that doesn't really quite qualify here. Inertness, which I think is a really funny word. Just in all of this, the treatment of a person as lacking in agency and also perhaps in activity. Well, in activity, well, her job is to actually just be standing there. Lacking in agency, well, that might be answered in the same vein. Her agency was given when she said that yes, she would stand there and be the foil to these boys and not respond back to them, but to just have them, just for her to be the girl in the play. Or in the film, sorry. Violability, which sounds like your ability to play the largest instrument in the violin family, but it's not. It's actually violability is the treatment of a person as lacking in boundary integrity. Once again, the girl is actually asked to be touched, so what are you going to do? Ownership, the treatment of a person as something that is owned by another. I don't think that comes into play here at all. A denial of subjectivity, the treatment of a person as something whose experiences and feelings need not be taken into account. I mean, that is kind of once again, just falls under the fact that this was a setup film to get the reactions of the boys. But Rebecca Haynes thinks that yes, all these points are actually taken up in the film. Now is there anything else to really say about this? Not really. So we'll go back then. Let's see. I think I've addressed all the 9 points, and I think for the most part, they're answered by that Martina, in being an actress and signing on to do the film, had to have known the script, what was going to be said. She'd have to know the location. Her parents would have to be informed, and they would have to tell her at one time or another that there's a possibility she's going to get struck. So no, as part of the crew and as the main foil in the interview, I believe that Martina had more consent than the boys ever did. Really, the boys are the ones who are off balance and asking questions they've never heard and are asked at a certain point to slap a girl, which has to be an incredible, a stunning event for somebody standing out in the street and volunteering to do an interview. Let's see. Anything else to say about this? Well, just as a bit of a wrap up to my friends and my 2 friends who responded to this so badly, I think they just applied some tenets of feminism incorrectly to this film. Yes, it's about domestic violence, but it really is. I believe that the whole point of this is to approach gender violence as by showing that these boys are innocent, and that I guess this is a response saying that boys in this crazy culture that we live in, this rape culture we live in, aren't the animals or the barbarians that feminists and a lot of academics would like to portray them as being. And I think that's the thing that really pisses them off about this film, is that these boys come off so great, handling themselves so well, that it ticks them off. It just one picture's worth 1,000 rhetorical poison words. In one look, these young men tell you how nonviolent they are, and that it just must cook these feminists who just want to portray boys and men as being so irrationally violent. Well, I think that's I'm wrapping that up. I'd like to. This is my first film, so I'd like to shout out to some folks who I've been watching and kind of got me to the point where I might actually put something on YouTube. So here we go. Bane666 shouting out that cynical cynicism. I believe that's Man, Woman, Myth as well. Barbarossa, Razorblade Candy, Karen Strawn, Spetsnaz, Jonathan Taylor. If you guys don't know who Jonathan Taylor is, he does a lot of great work on boys and education and boys and men's rights in education. Thunderfoot, very funny guy for science and current events. Sargon of Akkad, love This Week in Stupid, one of my favorite things to listen to. I often go to a place called Studio Brûlé, which deals with men's issues, and they'll do lectures there. Some of the open lectures I've seen by people like Janice Fiamengo and Aaron Pritzi and Warren Farrell, I actually found on the Studio Brûlé website, as well as a lot of the demonstrations in front of the University of Toronto and Ottawa, places like that, which were pretty shocking. Let's see. Oh, and I can't forget Sandman. I go there just about every day, Sandman. mgtow, great. Thank you very much. Skeptor, kind of a new guy to me, but I'm really enjoying his work. Funny guy. Veneton or Vention, mgtow, who I also watch a lot for mgtow lifestyle, and I don't know, just a basic great vibe that he gives off about men going their own way. Now, this film, this short film Slapper, has been seen by, oh my gosh, like 23 million people at this stage of the game, and most people think that it's a great film. I'm located in Canada, so it's very telling that I throw this film up on my Facebook page, you get nothing for 2 days, and it's treated like some sort of, I don't know, pariah online. Nobody wants to say anything or touch anything, or give any kind of comment on it, because they'd be judged if they might say something about it. And finally, when I do get the 2 responses, they're just, it's feminist garbage. So, well, I'm signing off. Hope to speak to you again soon. Enjoy this first one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.